Good morning. My name is Simba Spencer Mtamanengwe. I'm a special needs teacher, English teacher, skills development facilitator, registered assessor, as well as a registered moderator in South Africa. Today I'll be talking about instructional leadership, and these are the areas that I'll be covering. What is instructional leadership? Importance of instructional leadership, theories of instructional leadership, practices as well as challenges faced by instructional leaders. First question is, what is instructional leadership? It is a leadership model that aims to improve student learning outcomes by guiding and supporting teaching and learning environment. It also focuses on managing teaching and learning in a school to improve outcomes. Under instructional leadership, we've got three aspects, which are model school leadership, pedagogical leadership, learner-centered leadership. Under model school leadership, we've got aptitude. This is the time students need to learn a certain task. We've got instructional quality. This is the quality of instruction students receive in their learning process. And we've got time available. This is the amount of time students need to complete a certain task. Therefore, as a instructional leader, you have to give learners enough time to perform their tasks. We move on to pedagogical leadership. Pedagogical leadership is the practice of teaching and how it influences the learning process. Pedagogical leadership involves teaching methods, learning activities, learning assessments, and understanding the learning styles. We move on to learner-centered leadership. This is a method of teaching that shifts the focus of instruction from the teacher to the students. The learner is the active environment who uses his knowledge, past experience, and education in the learning process. We move on to importance of instructional leadership. The first one is creating a positive environment. This involves making students feel safe, respected, and supported in the learning environment. We move on to creating a safe and orderly environment. This is an environment where learning is not distracted, disruptions are minimized, there is no violence, no drugs, no bullying, no fear. In this environment, students are not discriminated against. We move on to improving student achievement. This involves encouraging student engagements, prepare students for the future, use educational research, and use assessments, both formative and summative assessments. We move on to improving the learning goals. We improve learning goals by setting clear goals and using learning objectives, because here the students are more likely to succeed if they understand what is expected of them. We move on to improving student outcomes. How do we improve student outcomes as instructional leaders? We provide them with feedback so that they will know their strengths and weaknesses. We use novel technology, the latest technology. We engage with the parents. Engaging with the parents, we have to regularly communicate with the parents so that we'll be able to help each other to identify the students' strengths and weaknesses. We move on to the theories of instructional leadership. I'm going to talk about two theories only, transformational leadership theory and transactional leadership theory. Under transformational leadership theory, this is the ability to inspire and motivate the team to create a positive change. As an instructional leader, you have to motivate and inspire your learners. You have to be a visionary. You have to be open to new ideas. You have to be creative. You have to be innovative. You have to find new teaching strategies and new teaching styles. As an instructional leader, you also have to promote collaboration and celebrate achievement of your students. We move on to transactional leadership theory. It involves adjusting your approach to the situation, tasks, people you are managing. This involves being democratic. By being democratic is giving others freedom of speech and being accountable to actions. Being participative, taking part in decision making and other activities in the organization. Being cohesive, as an instructional leader, as a teacher, you have to be cohesive. You have to persuade your learners. Directing, you also have to give directives to your learners as well as your team members. You also have to be encouraging, inspire and motivate your team members as well as your learners. Feedback, always give feedback to your learners, whether it's through assessments, summative assessments or formative assessments, so that students, they will know their strengths and weaknesses in order for them to improve. Adaptability, This involves being able to adjust to new conditions, environment, and new curriculums. As a instructional leader, you also have to focus on relationships. This involves building strong connection with others, both professionally and personally. You have to be honest, being truthful, no lies. Your team members have to trust you. Coaching involves training. You also have to train your team members as well as your learners. We move on to organizational approach to instructional leadership. I work for a company called Triple E Training in Krugersdorp, South Africa. So I'll talk about the principal as an instructional leader. The principal in my school is responsible for managing teaching and learning activities to improve student outcomes. So his job as the principal is to coordinate. You'll be coordinating curriculum development, teacher training, and the collaboration. You'll be controlling, you'll be monitoring and evaluating and supervising everything that happens in the school. You'll be creating a positive culture through opening communication, praise for good work, and being supportive. He motivates everyone. We move on to setting high expectations. Exactly. A principal set high expectations for both the students and the teachers. We move on to the strategies used by instructional leaders. Strategies are methods that teachers use to deliver course materials in a way that keeps students engaged, practicing different skill sets. As an instructional leader, as an educator, I use collaborative learning. I encourage my students to collaborate, to engage, to work together so that they share ideas. Peer coaching. I coach my learners, I train them, I show them how to do things. Instructional feedback. I give them feedback via through formative assessments, so a summative assessment, so that they will know their strengths and their weaknesses. Regular visiting class. The principal, as a instructional leader in my school, always visits my class to see the progress, to see if you are facing any challenges as a class. Also focusing on adjusting support based on the needs of what we need in the classroom. Keep learning and researching. As a sectional leader, I keep on learning and researching for new learning strategies and new learning styles. I coach my students, I train them, I monitor progress through assessments, both summative and formative assessments, so that the students will know their strengths and weaknesses. Reflection and strategies that influence my teaching practices. First one is creating a supportive environment. In my classroom as an educator, I make sure that my class is safe. Students, they don't fear anything. There is no bullying. There are no disruptions. They are not discriminated against. As an instructional leader, I also monitor my student progress through assessments, both summative and formative assessments. I also align my resources with my goals. I support quality teaching through innovative learning strategies and learning styles. I also coordinate curriculum development so that we use the latest curriculum that will help to achieve student outcomes. Challenges faced by instructional leaders. Communication is the first challenge. Some instructional leaders, they don't know how to communicate effectively. So communication, it will be a challenge. Some instructional leaders, they don't know how to design their curriculums. Some instructional leaders, they don't know how to act professionally towards their team members and towards their students. Budgeting is another problem in many schools. We move on to family and society pressures. Family and societies, they put too much pressure on instructional leaders. They've got their own expectations, so it will be challenges for instructional leaders. Different learning strategies is another challenge. Some instructional leaders, they are still using outdated learning strategies. Therefore, they have to use innovative, the latest learning strategies. So the solutions to these problems are education and training and proper planning, especially on the issue of budgeting. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much.